So I outlined a number of issues that plagued the M1 MacBooks at the time of release. Now, a month later, there have been a few updates with regards to this. Some of the apps facing the issues have seen software updates, and more apps are slowly being optimized for Apple Silicon. So let's look at where we stand with regards to issues with the M1 MacBooks now in the second week of January 2021. Now, one of the issues that Apple has promised to fix for is the external display support with its upcoming update of Big Sur 11.2. I faced a number of issues with my particular external display, a BenQ EW3280U, which is a 4K monitor that was being limited to running at 30 Hz when connected to the M1 MacBook Air via USB-C or display port connection. I was able to output at 60 Hz refresh rate only when connected via HDMI. Well, that's still the case, and I'm hoping that the Big Sur 11.2 update will fix this. This is not an isolated case, and there are numerous reports on online forums, and even other YouTube creators are facing this issue. Also, it affects more displays than this particular BenQ model. So if this is of concern to you, make sure you read and do research about your own external display and its compatibility with the M1 MacBooks. The second issue we spoke of was the slower USB bus speeds with the M1 MacBooks, and that is still the case. The USB copy speeds are inconsistent. Surprisingly, the speeds vary depending on the battery level of the MacBook. But for me, personally, this has not been an issue, as the excellent CalDigit TS3 Plus dock has helped me sidestep this issue. This suggests that this is more intrinsic to how the USB bus controller is being handled by the system. We will have to wait and see what the Big Sur 11.2 update brings with respect to this before it can be said with certainty whether this is a hardware or software issue. Do explore the TS3 Plus dock further if you want to expand the ports on your M1 MacBook and not lose performance in the process. Now, the good news comes when we talk about performance issues with the MacBook Air M1. Earlier, in programs like Final Cut Pro, there were several performance issues such as stuttering and lagging and losing audio when adding effects, cuts or transitions to a timeline. Well, with the Final Cut Pro 10.5.1 update, most of this is a thing of the past. There are almost no freezing or stuttering issues anymore, and whilst adding transitions or cuts to a multi-layered timeline, it can still make the app lose audio momentarily. If you give it a few seconds, the background render catches up and the audio gets restored without you having to restart the app, as was previously the case. This is a big improvement, and performance is now more in line with what everyone was expecting, having watched so many superlatives being thrown at these M1 Macs. I also spoke of the RAM issue where the system felt the pressure when running resource-intensive tasks. I've done a detailed analysis on this in another video that's linked in the description, so do check that out for an in-depth look. But let's just say that despite what anyone might tell you, 8GB is not equal to 16GB on any computer, M1 or not. FCP uses close to 11GB of RAM when exporting videos, and unoptimized photo editing apps like Adobe Lightroom Classic are similarly RAM hungry. Basically, the 8GB variants are unusable when such tasks are running in the background for anything else. The good news here is that optimized apps are doing much better than this, and apps like Parallels Desktop can run Windows 10 ARM Edition smoothly using under 6GB of RAM with no noticeable slowdown of macOS. So the situation should certainly improve as we go further along the road with more and more optimized apps joining the fray. Another issue that was very annoying was the internet connectivity issue I faced in the early days with this MacBook Air. The great news is that this issue seems to have been completely resolved itself, and there have been no connectivity drops whatsoever. Earlier, this issue was so severe that the laptop used to lose both Wi-Fi and Ethernet connections, and only a restart would help. But since Big Sur 11.1, there's been no problems with this at all. So this issue should be well behind us now. Another issue that I'm facing less and less is the waking up of the external display via HDMI. Now, this is not completely solved, but at least 9 times out of 10, the display wakes up when connected to the M1 MacBook Air. The problem that remains is that it wakes up in windowed mode. It will not open full screen on the external display most times, and only by closing and opening the MacBook lid, does the issue fix itself? Now this happens when I'm running a scaled resolution such as 2560 by 1440 on this BenQ display. If I run the original 4K resolution, it mostly wakes up correctly. But it can be very annoying to go through this process several times a day and leads me to believe that M1 MacBooks take a few moments to detect and realize the selected resolution for external displays. And God forbid, if you connect it to an external dock such as the TS3 Plus and decide to detach the cable without ejecting it first whilst the computer is awake, it can sometimes lead to horrible artifacting on the MacBook screen, and the MacBook screen will not go back to its correct display resolution until you do a restart. These are all really annoying issues. But again, hopefully the Big Sur 11.2 update should fix this soon. Another piece of great news is to do with Google Chrome. The app is well optimized for Apple Silicon now, and with the current version, it runs beautifully on the M1 Air. No freezes or stuttering, and it actually runs as well as Safari on this system now. In fact, performance is so good now that I haven't experienced Google Chrome to be so snappy on any system anywhere, even when running resource-intensive extensions. A big thumbs up on this one. And finally, the issue of non-compatibility of many apps and extensions with Apple Silicon is largely the same, but improving with time. The recommendation with regards to this remains the same. If your work depends on an app or several apps that is not known to work or work well with Apple Silicon, do not have this as your primary computer yet. Needless to say, with Apple's influence, all developers are being encouraged to make their apps optimized for Apple Silicon, and with big names such as Adobe joining the list of optimized apps, the time is not far when this will cease to be an issue for the majority of Mac users. For now, do check out the website isapplesiliconready.com to check any app for its compatibility with Apple Silicon devices. Links in the description. So great times ahead, and the future is looking bright for the M1 Macs. As you can see, in the short span of a month, many of the initially reported issues have been fixed. And as I previously pointed out, most of these issues are software related and thus will find a fix sooner or later. So absolutely go ahead and buy the M1 MacBooks or the Mac Mini if you're in the market for a new computer. They are simply the best Macs you can buy at the moment and offer performance and value well above their price point. We will reconvene on this topic once Big Sur 11.2 goes public, and I hope that with that update, the rest of the outstanding issues will finally be behind us as well. If you wish to explore the M1 MacBook Air from other standpoints, do check out my other videos about it as well. The individual videos and the complete playlist is linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and please consider subscribing if you found this video useful. I will see you in my next one.